So after I graduated college, I ended up falling into a relationship that I really just had no business being in. And it wasn't too long that I ended up moving in with him. And shortly after that is when things became fairly abusive. Because of the nature of that relationship and the decisions that I continued to make for myself, that home quickly became like a living hell for me. One of the many vices that I ended up picking up during that time was smoking cigarettes. And I remember that I would often sneak out of my house late at night and I would drive around the corner just to be alone. I would park in front of a school. I would sit there from anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour. It's 2 hours, and I would just smoke. I would cry out to God and just contemplate how the heck I got here. I would ask God if He heard me, if He knew who I was, and at that point I just really believed that I was too far gone for my religion to really do me any good. So that was actually 5 years ago, and up until Restored meeting at Callahan on Sunday mornings, I wasn't able to pass through that neighborhood just because the memories were just so dark for me. And it's actually really crazy for me to say that that house that I lived in was 2 streets down from here, and the school that I used to go park in front of and cry out to Jesus was actually Callahan. It's so emotional and joyful to now have this neighborhood be a place where I worship, to be a place where I actually feel safe, to be where my pastor's family lives. Now that I'm able to see the full restoration story of my time in this area, I can so clearly see how close God was to me during that time. Not only did He know my name, but I can look back and see now that He was so clearly calling me to Himself, and that He was promising me to rescue me and to sustain me. And so being able to see that whole picture, I believe that now as Jesus followers, we are called to live our life on mission. I don't believe that always looks like traveling overseas. In fact, I think that a way that the enemy can even hinder us is making us believe that and stopping us from living our life on mission by making us uninterested in even just introducing ourselves to our neighbors and being concerned with loving them well. In realizing that, over the past month, we as a church, we've been meeting in this neighborhood to walk and pray over the families who live here and over the neighborhood that God has placed us in. We, in that, have felt the Spirit so clearly leading us to now start acting on what's been put on our heart for this area. And so the next steps is we're actually going to have leaders going around here and introducing themselves to this community. And what I would love to invite you guys to do and just encourage you to do is if you do call Restored your home church, just that you would ask that you be praying over these conversations, and that our prayers for these families and for their salvation would be answered. We just so deeply want to know them, and I know it can be hard when we don't have names or faces to put to these prayers, but we know that Jesus does know them so specifically. And just like in sitting on all of this, I'm reminded of a worship song that in the chorus, I think it says like, "Here I am, Jesus, send me." And when I hear that, I just get a picture of this like scrawny, filthy little kid coming up behind Jesus and pulling on the hems of His clothing, just looking up to Him and just like putting his hands out and saying, "I'll go." And like not having anything to offer, I just feel like that can be us, and Jesus turning around with love and confidence in His eyes, just saying like, "Yes, go." And so what we want to do is we'll be having an open invite prayer walk on the 9th. And so if there's anyone who's interested in that, I really encourage you to come. And if you have any questions or maybe more vision to what you heard today, we would love to talk with you more about that. So I just encourage you to find a leader after service so that we can hear your heart and answer any questions that you do have.